let's say create a custom building, a science fiction type of a building. First off, you can go to images.google.com and search for science fiction building exterior clean white. You're gonna be running into something like this. The image that I chose to go with looks like this because it has fairly simple geometry, and it's going to be easy for us to build it and spawn it in game to model everything from scratch. Keep in mind we only have the front. We do not know how the building looks on the other sides, on the sides of the back. So you go to first, make sure you have the same stuff enabled on your side on your Blender. Go to add-ons and search on the search field here. Just type import images as plain and enable that. And after you've done that, you go to add images as plain. Go to where your picture is right here, and you should see the image. Let's rotate it on the x-axis 90 degrees. Like that. And change the view to 70 millimeter. Then, or just to plan ahead a little bit in here, we're gonna be creating cube and then another cube, and we're gonna boolean into it so we have the same thing going on. Add cube. We do not know exactly how big the building is going to be. The moment we have this area in here, we're going to put a pad from the game next to what appears to be the door, and that's how we're going to be scaling the whole thing as a real building. All right, so first we're going to be creating this shape in here, the facade of the building. Enter edit mode. Size it on X. Actually, we're gonna size D. Inset, press I, G, and X. Extrude on X, E, Z. On Z, not on X. but to me it appears that this area is completely flat and only the profile it's bumpy. So we're gonna be cutting a add modifier, add cube, move it next to it. Then we're going to be selecting our geometry, boolean, and apply. We now have a perfectly flat surface. Next, we're going to be cutting the what appears to be the entrance. We will be using this box. Resize a little bit. Edit mode, select the edges, Control B to bevel. We're going to move the cursor to selection, then we're going to move selection to cursor, so it's right smack in the middle of our geometry. That looks good. Select the bottom face. And add the boolean again. And apply. We now have that bit cut into. Next, we're going to be adding a hole on top. The hole appears to be just as tight, just a little bit smaller than the what we're looking for. So cursor to selected, this selection to cursor, and then we'll resize until the walls touch the walls of the cylinder touch the walls of the other geometry. About there. And looks like it's right above, right next to where the outer wall ends. Modifier, boolean, select the cylinder, and apply. Whoops. Okay, I didn't mean to cut into the back wall, so we are going to be undoing this until we apply the boolean, and we'll move those faces back. Like that. And add the boolean again. Whoops, that's not the right one. Alright, we have the perfect cut. Let's see, we have a little bit of inset in here that kind of creates a new circle, and also what appears to be like a new level that has windows. So now instead of so we're going to be cutting circles inside this geometry. I mean around. Like rings, not circles. Something like that, and then we'll select the rings and extrude them inward. Like so. I think that's pretty good. Maybe it's too much because if you do that, you're not going to be able to see the windows. So scale it back. Whoops. I think this is good. And maybe just this one, resize it. like so. Next, let's create the this area right here. It doesn't look like it goes over. I'm just gonna stop. Undo that, select the faces, and press Shift H to hide everything except the selection, and then press Ctrl R to loop cut and move along normals. It's not very precise. Then press Alt H and you have a clean cut. And from here we're going to extrude on the side. But looks like there's a little bit of a distance between this wall and the front wall. So we'll take those two edges, move it forward, and not along normals. Select the faces, extrude on X. So this extrusion looks about the same size with this area. So I'm going to move it back a little bit, something like that. Then select this edge and snap it to this edge. And look, there's a little bit of bevel. Okay, we'll do that later after we have the other cuts. We will dissolve those edges because we will need a new cut with this. So create a new cylinder, save your work, and I'm just going to hide those. I'm not deleting them because I may be using it later to match those cuts perfectly, so I don't have to duplicate the mesh and do all that stuff. So I'm hiding stuff instead of deleting it. Okay, so we cut those two thing in here, rotate it on Y, on X, sorry, 90 degrees. Edit mode, select vertices, press J. No, god damn it. Then on the other side too. J, and then select the faces, delete, top face, delete, face, and then select this face, Control plus, and number 2, select edge, loop select, extrude on X, and press F to merge to fill. Resize this so it becomes a perfect boolean element. Looks like D. Oh, Blender, you fuck. It's the center of the tube. It's just a little bit below where the angle starts. So it's gonna be like this, a little higher. Distance wise is fairly close. Like so, but it's a lot thinner. So keep on sizing it so we have something like that. Edit, select face, so we know exactly where to cut. Right, let's move this. Like so. Save, duplicate on Z axis, Shift D. Yeah, this gap seems to be more or less exactly the same height as our cylinder. Alright, we're gonna merge those two. Select the both, press Ctrl J, that will merge them, and then select the main geometry, add modifier, boolean, and select the cylinder and apply. Then hide it. That's pretty good. Let's add a little bit of bevel on the two levels in here. Number 2, select edges. Control B. And 2 or 3. And that's pretty good in there. Now, looks like there's windows in here. We're gonna be It's not exactly clear. Oh, it is. There's a little bit of space between the outer edge and inside where the window starts. So let's add those windows. Create a new cube. Edit mode, select the bottom face, move it down. Something like that. How much space we have in here? It's quite a bit. This bridge here, this edge in here is quite big. But I don't think it's that big. I just want to move it forwards like that. But it suddenly merges with this like that. And then select this face and move it in, and this face and move it out like that. And of course we're going to be using boolean. Apply. And the reason I did that is just to keep the amount of faces, the geometry, the poly count down. That's the only reason I did that. We're gonna delete the inside faces. And select the edge, press F. F. This looks like a flip normal. Alt N and flip. So we now have pretty close. Right, let's cut those two right here and the stairs right in front. Add cube size, size on X, edit mode, bottom face, snap it to the bottom and top face, snap it to the corner. Let's see if this is somewhat, so this looks a lot higher. It's leveled with this edge, and the bottom one will be leveled with the bevel on the left side. So let's do that. Get the edge, the face, snap it to the top, and this face, snap it to the bevel on the corner right here. I think it would be nice for this to, instead of being square, to make it rounder, because it's a science fiction building. It's things are round. Control B to bevel. Doesn't look good. Yeah, fuck it. We're gonna leave it the way it is. Right, we have one. Next thing we will be it doesn't look like extends outward other than the where the steps are. So we're gonna be creating the steps. Yeah, let's cut this off first. Like that. Then bevel, boolean, apply, and delete. So the stairs are let's join those vertices so we can extrude. Exactly halfway. Select the edge, move it up a little bit. Select the face and extrude on the Y. Something like that. And those stairs are tiny. I created that many faces just so I know exactly to keep it proportional. But I'm gonna remove it the moment I have what I need. I'm gonna be cleaning up the geometry. So we're gonna be selecting one face in here. We're gonna detach selection. So this is stairs. And rotate it 90 degrees. Or is minus 90? Then we're gonna be snapping the pivot, the origin to the corner. That will make it easier for us to create the stairs. So grab that. We will be duplicating the stairs on and rotate it on X 90 degrees. Then we're gonna merge this, join it, not merge. And we're gonna keep duplicating this, but let's readjust the word origin again, like so. Turn it off. Then we're gonna press Shift D to duplicate it and repeat. So we now have stairs. And it clean up the geometry. Number 2, select edges. Control X to clean it, to dissolve. And the face itself, we do not know exactly. This looks a lot smaller. If I have to zoom in, I'm looking at 6. So I'm gonna be having 2, 4, 5, 6. Everything else is garbage. If we have to stay true to what we try to emulate in here. So we'd edit this, select it, and move it to match the height of the stairs right here. Then we will merge, join this geometry with the building itself. Control J, and we take this edge and this edge and oops. Okay, it doesn't like that, so we'll do a different way. Like that. There you go. I don't see the reason for those to be here. So I don't know if I want to create them. Okay, one last big step is to create this level in here, right between those. So there's gonna be a tube with bevel and some other stuff in here. Does it protrude? Yeah, protrude outside, but it's not a whole lot bigger. So let's do that. Add cylinder size. Add its top face. So this to me it appears to be as big as the distance between the windows in here. So we're gonna do that. Move the faces like that. Size a little bit because it's not that big. Something like that. So those two, the bottom bevel is a bit bigger than the top bevel, and then the top area has like a little bit of a lip in here that also touches the wall. Right. So we're gonna be editing this one first. I'm gonna do inset, press I, just enough it touches the inside of the building. I think I should inset both of them in the same time. Alright, so this is way too big. Control plus. Actually, let's move the faces down. So the bottom one is a bit bigger, and the top one is not as big. And then inset again. And then select and extrude on Z, EZ. All right. Then we will have to resize so that this edge and this edge is the same. Match those. So size it. If we are to be precise, we just move blocks into the scene in here, so we have a sometimes it's hard to tell. So our tube is a bit bigger, not bigger but taller, too tall. But we still need to keep what's supposed to be the glass area touching the wall. So we're gonna move edit mode, press Control plus, and move it just enough so it touches the cube that we use as a guide. Like that. Now move the cube up. So the bottom of the cube touches that edge, and then edit Control plus all the way to the edge and move it enough, move it down so the glass is just touching the bottom edge of the cube, something like that. Maybe it's a little higher. Yeah, we'll go with that. Alright, so this is pretty much the building. This is pretty much the building, and we have to merge those and then clean up. Yeah, see from the picture you cannot tell if, yeah, it's clear this is inside and this is on the outside. I think we're good. And let's create this area right here, this and this. Take this edge and move it all the way here. Like so. Select the vertices, J. Oh, Blender, why done this to me? Two more. All right. So this seems to be exactly the same size. The same width? No, maybe it's a little smaller. It's hard to tell. We'll make it a little smaller. Some shenanigans happen here. Faces. Oh, looks clean. But it's not really clean. So I'm going to be extruding that on Y. And on Z. And cap this. Okay, I see the mistake I've made. I cannot have this until, because the inside needs to be facing outward. Alright, let's clean the geometry now. Nope. Alright, so that should tell Blender what exactly we want the cuts. So we said that this is smaller. So I'm going to take those faces and move it in halfway, probably like that. maybe this too, I don't know. That seems reasonable. Alright, one other thing that I noticed, it kind of moves in a little bit, and this one moves out a lot more. Although this one seems to be straight, this one moves in. That doesn't make any sense from architectural point of view. Why would you do that? So the outside one looks nice, but the inside one doesn't make any sense. The outer edge makes sense, but the inner edge that has a little bit of a curve inside doesn't make any sense. But we will make this one on the outside, so let's do that. So we need to go right a little above where the other cut starts. So around here, I guess. So number 2, edge, or so let's see how we move that edge around here. I think it is just a little above. Right here. Join the vertices, create additional geometry in here so we have a nice clean cut. Not cut, but symmetrical bulge if you want. Number 3, select the face. Move it outwards. How big is it? It's quite big. And then select this edge, Control B. So that's pretty good. Right here. Are we missing anything? This is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. Well, the top one seems to have a little bit of a lip, like a probably so we're gonna insert the face. Number 3, insert eye. This edge, make it kind of smaller. I cannot tell why the glass will be that thick. And select those 3 edges. I'll resize this one too. Like that, and bevel. and extrude on Z. Like so. Maybe a little bigger. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's cut this in half and mirror this side on the other side so we don't have to repeat the whole process. First, hide whatever you do not use and only keep what you want, what you have to merge or join. Then this is exactly what we want. We already have the cursor in the middle of the geometry because we when we created this bit we moved the cursor. So now create a new cube, not a cube, yes, a cube. Move it. First move view, origin, right in the corner. And then selection to cursor. Size it on Y. Like so. And this will cut through this, the cube will cut through this geometry. Modify boolean. Apply. And object, no, we have to duplicate it, duplicate. And object mirror X, and we will do view tool origin. It could be pretty much right here in the corner. Blender, please. Like that. Turn it off. Let's clean up those faces because this is gonna be a joint geometry. Faces. We have another issue in here. Seems okay. What the fuck is going on in here? Oh, the back. So we do not know exactly if the back of the building is flat or not. And because it's not flat, well, fuck. Right, he made a window in here, so we need to flatten somehow this, but we'll deal with it later. So for now, we're gonna do that. So we gotta duplicate this again because we modified the geometry. Object mirror X. Redo the origin. disassemble it. Like that. What do you do? So edit 3, select all faces, Alt and flip, save, out of edit mode, select the other one, Control J, boom. So when you duplicate, we'll also we'll flip the way the normal will face. So be aware of that. If it looks weird, you have to flip the faces first and then attach it to the original geometry. So yeah, this is pretty much what's going on in here. We're gonna flatten the back of the building, and we're gonna create, I don't know if I want to create this area in here because there is not much we can see. So let's flatten that. You know what? I'm gonna cut this building in half and mirror the front with the back and not worry about the little window in here. So let's do that. So center, cursor to grid, selection to cursor. No man, what are you doing? To center, like that. Then create a new cube. Move it like that. Modifier, boolean, apply. Then take this, duplicate it on the y-axis, rotate it 180 on the z, and change the origin. And snap it next to, oh, snap it next to the other. Select both of them, Control J. Boom, you have a building now. Looks off with this hole in here and the other, so let's remove that. Let's take those edges. Blender, please. And extrude all the way to this wall. We may want to remove those faces too, so let's remove that. This, and this. Extrude Y. Like so. Then take those edges, those faces, and F. What's going on? Take those two. Alright. Let's clean some of the geometry. So it's pretty good right here. I guess we gotta create, there is no building in the world that looks like that, unless we want to put some, create like a fake garden here with trees and all that stuff. That look, I always wonder why people do that, put trees inside the buildings. But some people seems to like it, so, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna cut a hole in here. Cut an edge. Then we'll merge this so the back of it looks like it's a solid interior, and only the front of it looks the way it looks. But let's add a new modifier called weld, so we take care of the meshes that we merge and are close to each other. And I think it's supposed to be that. Edit, exit out of edit mode, apply. Like that. And now we can clean up the geometry a bit. Alright, so this is exactly where we're going to be creating a room, or to make it appear like it's a solid building, a solid interior. And turn that off. Select the interfaces, number 3, like so. I'm gonna do number 2, select the edges and press F. And F. But if this is solid, most likely we're gonna put another door in here, or completely remove this, which I think is exactly what I want, to completely remove it. And this is cute in here because we can put a door and have people walk in right here from both sides. Maybe even create like a little bridge and people can access this area, tiny bridge. So let's eliminate the back side in here with the stairs, because if we leave the stairs, we also have to create a door. I'm not against creating another door. I am against creating too much geometry we cannot justify yet. So let's do that from the top. G. Like so. What never done pre. I gotta separate it. Alright, so this one, modifier, boolean, apply. Ta-da, we have a clean back building. Check it out. That's pretty fucking good, huh? We replicated it and made a 3D model out of a 2D image that I found over the internet. I don't know exactly how long this video is, but I'm looking at my OBS and it says 1 hour and 17 minutes. It's pretty good for a completely new building. It doesn't have an interior, doesn't have textures, doesn't have anything or collisions. But I guess we're gonna be doing that on the next video. See you shortly.